Hey guys, Xlice here. It's time for E0 to E6 Rin Showcase. Full guide out on main channel as usual. This one's going to be a bit shorter than usual because I'm pretty booked with videos to make. So we're mainly going to slap Memory of Chaos, and then we're going to slap AA for E6. Quick run through of Rin's build. Central icon. We have crit rate, speed, damage bonus, and attack. Since we're doing E0 to E6, I'm strictly going to use the Ceridra comp for max Rin damage. This is the Ceridra comp. The Archer comp should also be pretty solid, but since her Eidolon scale her personal damage a lot more, it'll be easier to see how juice she gets with this hyper-carry setup with Sparkle, Ceridra, Ho-Ho. Sparkle will be on DDD for this. Full disclaimer, none of this is optimal gameplay, just going with the flow to get good damage from the team. Okay, so first up, E1. So this one's kind of the important one. If you use more than 30 gem energy on an instance of enhanced skill, it'll copy it over and it'll form a shadow gem, which allows her to use that same exact enhanced skill, but cost none of the gem energy. So she can kind of stack it over time. You'll see in the tooltip. All right, so here's the setup. Let's get into battle. Okay, so let's lead off. Bull's gonna basic here. I'm gonna save the ultimate until after Sparkle goes. So watch this, 49, 48. I'm not sure. Oh wait, I know why. I'm not sure why it decreased by 1, but it has to be a multiple of 3. So she gets 48, 50. You can see the color of her tooltip change. That means the next one's gonna be Shadow Gem, and then any additional gem energy is going to be in the bottom of the buff bar, and it'll overflow later on. Sparkle boost. Okay, so you guys can see the 7 gem energy on the bottom there. Aho is going to ultimate. Spirit is going to ult. We get 4 out of 6 charges. Kind of just play by ear here. Spirit is going to skill here. Just get her to 5 out of 6. It'll be important for later on. Okay, so it's almost Rin's turn. She's going to go ahead and use her free one. So this one's free. So pretty good damage. You guys see here, 10 gem energy. Also, no skill points are used. I'm gonna go ahead and ultimate when the ads are spawned. Set up that vulnerability debuff. So, 23 gem energy after 9 skill points. And then we action forward here. So, this is gonna consume, let's see how many. 42. And it's gonna copy. So you notice the interesting thing there? We used it, then we got 30 back, but we don't have the Shadow Gem. Interesting interaction with Ceridra's copy. Very interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and E here. This is gonna give us our Shadow Gem of 33. So yeah, that's very interesting the way that Ceridra works. I'm not sure how that's calculated, but some probably interaction there. Alright, it's going to be pretty standard lineup here. Going to be 5 out of 6 on the copy. So here we can go and send it on Rin so that we get 6 out of 6. This preps her next one to be a copy. I'm going to send an ultimate for that Bull debuff. Get more gem energy on ult. I'm not sure why I'm taking so long, by the way. Wouldn't usually play this slow, but I think I was probably in the middle of like typing some stuff. It's all good. So I'm gonna go ahead and well, ideally I should basic here, but it might be different depending on what E1 did. Yeah, okay, so I do basic here. The reason why is because I want Sam to undergo his weakness bar to show up. I'm really tired. But yeah, so this is the copy. 6-7 here. Almost. So at E1, we're almost one-shotting and 0 cycling, but unfortunately for here, we're not going to be able to. You guys can also see with the Ceridra copy, I'm now 66 out of 15 on the Shadow Gem. So I'm not really sure how sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's fine. Really apologize, by the way. I have been working on so many back-to-back videos, and probably I'm like rushing / slurring my words. Hopefully you can deal with it. Appreciate your patience. Alright, so E2. This one's gonna be kind of the juicy one, right? So her skill damage dealt increased by 30%, and all damage from everyone's skill is 1.3 times final damage. So this one should be pretty massive. It's gonna be hard to tell. I guess we can go ahead and just do the first one so you guys can see. So let's pull up E1 Rin again, and let's do the first skill to really see where we're at here. Okay, so this is the first skill. so 700k. Again, it's not really that indicative because we have two different mobs here, but maybe this gives us a little bit of information. So let's go ahead and go to E2 and see how much we do on the first one. So right here, how much did we do? It's 700k before. 885k. I mean, that's pretty significant, right? 700k to 885. So it looks to me that it's not 1.6. It's going to be 30% damage bonus and then a 1.3 times. But again, might not be accurate because depending on where the bounce hits go, it could go on to this mob versus this mob. So yeah. Sorry, drinking some water. Okay, but overall, E2 is where our damage has to ramp up. So let's just take a look at how we scale. I'm going to fast forward a bit until we have our big boom. Okay, so skill here. Big boom. We are 7-6 now. Action events forward. All right, so we have 8 skill points, 24 gem energy. Send it. The total conversion should come out to 42. 4 million. Okay. Okay. That's very good. That is like a guaranteed 0 cycle because we were able to one-shot that first wave and use our copy on the second wave. And also you notice here that we still have our shadow gem, which is the E1 version at 42. Pretty good. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and send it here at 66%. We're gonna set up just like normal. So yeah, this is the reason why I'm choosing to do the Ceridra comp, by the way, because this way you can really see where her damage scales up. Because Ceridra and the Sparkle lineup is as hypercarry as it gets for these skill nukers, which is exactly what she is. Alright, so we're prepping here. We are ready for the copy. Sam is about to open his weakness bar for us. And we're going to send it. So we basic here with Sparkle because we don't want to AA her beyond that. And it's right before the 0 cycle. Right before the first cycle ends. So always basic here. Ceridra can go ahead and basic. Okay, so now he opens weakness bar. We can go ahead and throw ultimate on the Vuln. 443k. Okay, and then here's a skill. Alright, so E2 skill boom. 3 mil. Nice, very nice. Pretty good. 0 cycle, very clean. Okay, so E4. This one is pretty simple. This one's just 70 to 140% crit damage. We'll do a quick showcase, but overall, nothing should really change, just a slight bit more damage. Okay, so first thing, let's see the initial damage here. 980k. So I mean, it is more damage, which is very nice. Let's keep going because we play the exact same way for the most part. Oh wait, this is actually pretty important. Let's take a look at this. See how far we nuke here. Phase 2, 2.2, 80%. So it's fairly similar than the previous one. All good. Another one, 65%, 1.7 mil. Pretty normal, I would say. So no real need to showcase that further. E6, this one's special. 20% all-type breath pen, and when using ultimate, gains 24 gem energy and 1 extra turn. So this one's very, very nice. We're gonna be able to Giga Blast enemies with this one. So let's do it. $1.5. That is significantly better, by the way. 1.5. We might have been hitting a different target, but yeah. Okay, let's set up. All right, so Rin has a special combo here. We can E into ult instantly. Proc Ceridra's copy. Ult, get an extra turn. Nuke the shit out of this guy. And then nuke the shit out of this guy. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You see that? You see that? 5 million damage, 55%, like basically frame zero. Effectively frame zero. And now she's about to go. So Sam's dying very, very, very fast here. 66 gem energy boost here. Let's see. Wow. I mean, he's basically dead. We just boost, and then he's dead. Next one, he's dead. Almost for sure. We just need to generate a little bit of skill points here. All right, just send it. Even if it's weak, I think it still kills. Or maybe not. Okay, I decided not to because I noticed that Sparkle's action advance is coming up. And she has ult. So, boost here. Into the skill points for DDD. Into the basic. We're actually E here. And ult for the copy. Not really necessary, but, you know, we can. So this would have been a copy plus an ult plus another one. I know, I just want a stat check here. 571 crit damage, pretty good. There it is. Not even close. Not even close. Okay, so last thing. Take a look at anomaly arbitration. Okay, so this boss is a bit annoying because we do only have Rin as our hyper carry here, and there's a lot of ads that are spawned by this boss, so it gets fairly irritating. Now, if every single enemy had quantum weakness, we would be in a much better state, but not all of them are. And if they don't have quantum weakness, we lose 20% ignore defense, which is kind of big. So yeah, we are at a detriment here, and unfortunately, even at E6 Rin with this comp, we are not able to zero cycle, just because we have to bleed through a bunch of mobs, and their HP bars. But we'll first take a look at how we're doing here. Alright, so Rin is just about to get into an E ult double E combo. This is her signature bread and butter here. Watch this. So we nuke here. We technically don't want to because this is the trash bomb phase, but yeah, 6.8 mil into an ultimate, which will recover gem energy for us. So at 46, then we're copying here. 67 here, 67, and then we copy it. And then we have 66 from Shadow Gem. So it's very interesting how Saridra's interaction works with her E1. Seems like the Shadow Gem occurs after both have happened, which is not as what I would have thought. I would have thought the first one happened, and then the Shadow Gem would prot and then use it, and then you'd store up a bunch of energy later. But it seems as though Saridra's copy literally copies the act of the skill. So she'll do a 6-7 gem energy twice. So interesting. Anyways, take a look at the damage here. We have 174 AV. Graphia is quantum weak, which is nice. And these doggles are also quantum weak, and she's at 62% HP. But the ads that she spawns are not quantum weak, which we'll get to in a second. Okay, so we don't have skill points here. We're gonna basic. And then Sparkle is going to boost here. And then ulti right away, even with the DDD, so that we get everything. Okay, 9 SP, a little bit more gem energy. Surger go on basic. Now we have our copy here. So this one's actually a little bit of debatable. This one might have not been the correct decision. I probably should have E'd with Rin, ulted, then copy with Saridra's ult, and then E'd again. That would have been a lot more damage because we do waste a bit of energy. Okay, so there we go. This should be 3s in a row here. Pretty nice, 3.2 mil. These ads right here are not quantum weak, which sucks for us. So take a look here. All right, these mobs do not have quantum weakness, which kind of blows. So Rin's damage is quite diminished against these guys. So we do need to kill the ads to get through her HP bar. So yeah, because her damage is balanced, we can't guarantee it always lands on her. Anyways, we're still gonna send it here though. Okay, so you guys can see the problem here now, right? Why we suffer a little bit and are not able to zero cycle, because these ads pose a big wall that we have to chew through. Okay, so Saridra, I believe we just basic here. Oh, we don't. Oh, we do. Yeah, we do just basic here so that we don't consume skill points. I'm gonna heal up our team here. And then after she goes, we're gonna DDD with Sparkle ult. Okay, This is a little bit awkward because Rin is literally 1 AV right before Sparkle. We're still gonna active boost, it's fine. And then we're gonna nuke here. So nuke here, and then phase change, and then ult, and then extra turn is very nice for us. We do like that. Okay, and then we get a 47 gem energy nuke here. Single target is great, by the way. Did 5.7 mil, 60%. But now our team is CC'd, and we have 26 AV left on the cycle, and we're screwed. So that's life. Alright, so we're just basic here to get out of it. Lead the copy for a Rin. But she is CC, which kind of sucks. Basic, ulti. Okay, so we kind of have to get out of this. Thankfully, we did really early. Have a huge copy here. This Shadow Gem, 6 mil, and then copied again into another... There it is. So when we have a lot of gem energy, we do a shit ton of damage here. And the Shadow Gem, you guys notice how that interaction worked, right? Saridra literally gives you the identical copy of the ability you just used. So if we use it off Shadow Gem, it'll do Shadow Gem. Yeah. So that's going to be a 1 cycle clear. Not bad, right? So overall, I think she's pretty cool. I have a kind of like I feel like Saridra's playstyle for her, or like for any type of character, is quite fun. You kind of have to do a little bit of puzzle manipulation, right? You have to like set up the comp, but once you do set it up and you get the new comp, it does pretty well. So based off of what I've discovered, right? What I've discovered is that you don't want to copy her E before the ult. You want to use your enhanced E, get the energy to ult, then ult. Then if you can Saridra ult after that to guarantee the copy right there, you should do that, because then the Vuln buff will be on, and then you can double nuke. That is, I feel like, the ideal situation. Now, alternatively, if your first E nuke has a lot of gem energy, definitely copy that. You always want to copy the one with the most gem energy because she will do the fattest amount of damage. So yeah. Overall, E6 is fun as hell. E2, E1 is where, you know, the fun really starts. I think she has a pretty cool design. I'm actually pretty stoked with her design. Now, is it super strong? Yes, but for that anomaly arbitration, it's kind of hard to deal with. If only those mobs were Quantum Weak, we definitely would have been able to zero cycle it. But yeah, that's going to be it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed E0 to E6. Let me know in the comments what you think about her. Let me know what you end up getting, and we'll see you guys next time. I may or may not have a Gil E0 to E6. He is right here, and the reason is because I am just so overloaded on content right now, so we'll see if we have a chance to get through this. Anyways, take care. See you next time. Bye-bye.